Ukraine just broke Russia's oil war machine. This is not a story about random fires. This is not one drone, one refinery, or one explosion in the night. This is the story of Ukraine reaching deep into the machinery that powers Russia's war. Oil, fuel, refineries, pipelines, ports, tankers, bridges, depots, Crimea supply routes. For years, Russia tried to make the world believe its rear areas were safe. Moscow was protected. Crimea was secured. The oil system would keep funding the invasion no matter what Ukraine did. But the map now tells a different story. From the Baltic to Moscow, from pipeline hubs to the Black Sea, from southern fuel depots to occupied Crimea, Ukraine has built something bigger than scattered strikes. It has built a pressure campaign. Ukraine is not just hitting what Russia owns. Ukraine is hitting what Russia needs. Every tank needs diesel. Every aircraft needs fuel. Every convoy needs supply. And every war economy needs oil money. Start in the north. The Baltic export system is one of Russia's major oil gateways. Ports, terminals, tank farms, loading stations, rail links, and tankers help move Russian energy into the world. When Ukraine strikes these nodes, the target is not just a storage tank. The target is revenue. The target is movement. The target is confidence. Russia's war depends on selling oil and petroleum products while convincing buyers that Russian supply is stable. But each fire, each delay, each rerouted tanker, and each damaged terminal weakens that illusion. Mainstream headlines may call it a drone attack or a blaze. But the larger truth is this: Ukraine is forcing Russia to defend the infrastructure that funds the war. That means more air defense pulled backward, more repairs, more insurance risk, more uncertainty, more cost. And every resource Russia spends protecting oil infrastructure is a resource it cannot use at the front. This is not just damage. This is pressure on the financial bloodstream of the invasion. Now move inland. Pipelines are the arteries of the oil system. A refinery cannot work unless crude reaches it. A port cannot ship unless fuel reaches the coast. A military supply chain cannot move unless fuel keeps flowing. That is why pumping stations and pipeline hubs matter. They are not glamorous targets. They do not always produce dramatic headlines. But strategically, they are vital. Hit a pipeline node, and the whole system has to adjust. Flow slows. Storage backs up. Refinery schedules shift. Export routes become less predictable. Military planners have to account for delays. This is where Ukraine's campaign becomes more sophisticated. It is not only about flames. It is about interruption. It is about making Russia ask a dangerous question. What still works today? Because the point is not to destroy every pipe. The point is to make Russia unsure which pipe, port, depot, bridge, or refinery is next. Then came Moscow. This is where the story changes. The Moscow oil refinery is not just another industrial site. It is a major fuel hub for the capital region, the center of Putin's power. Moscow is supposed to be protected. Moscow is supposed to be distant from the consequences of the war. But when Ukraine struck the Moscow refinery, the message was impossible to hide: Russia's rear is no longer truly rear. The fire mattered because of the images, smoke, flame, and panic near the capital. But the practical impact matters too. Fuel hubs support transport, logistics, industry, emergency services, and the wider economy around the capital. When a facility like that is damaged repeatedly, Russia has to reroute supply, manage shortages, repair equipment, and protect public confidence. That confidence is part of Putin's war machine. Ukraine is attacking that too. A refinery fire in Moscow is not just fire. It is proof that the war has reached the system Russia thought was untouchable. Now we get to the numbers. This is where the story becomes undeniable. The strongest reporting shows Ukraine's refinery campaign has disrupted more than 20% of Russia's refining capacity. That does not mean Ukraine permanently destroyed 1/5 of the Russian oil industry. That would be too simple, and it would not be honest. The stronger truth is this: Ukraine has repeatedly forced a major share of Russia's refining system into shutdown, reduced output, repair, rerouting, or emergency adaptation. That is a strategic success. Refineries are not simple buildings. They are complex systems of distillation units, compressors, hydrotreaters, storage tanks, rail loading points, power systems, and imported technology. Damage one critical unit, and the whole refinery can slow down. Damage advanced equipment that Russia cannot easily replace because of sanctions, and the repair problem gets worse. Strike again before repairs are complete, and Russia enters a cycle. Damage. Repair. Reroute. Shortage. Repeat. That is the pattern Ukraine is creating. This is also why the phrase temporary disruption can be misleading. Temporary does not mean small. A refinery shut for days or weeks can still mean lost fuel output, higher prices, regional shortages, export limits, and military supply stress. Russia can repair a tank. Russia can patch a pipe. But Ukraine is forcing Russia to repair everything, everywhere, again and again. Now look south to the Black Sea. This region links refineries, terminals, tankers, ports, naval activity, and supply routes toward occupied territory. When Ukraine hits Black Sea oil infrastructure, the effect spreads across several layers. It pressures revenue. It complicates shipping. It threatens military fuel movement. And it forces Russia to defend another major region far from the front. That is the strength of this campaign. Ukraine is not trying to match Russia tank for tank or missile for missile. Ukraine is choosing pressure points. A burning terminal means tankers wait. A damaged refinery means output drops. A damaged port means exports slow. A damaged supply route means fuel has to move another way. In war, every delay matters. And when those delays happen across multiple regions at once, they become more than inconvenience. They become strategic stress. Ukraine is not chasing spectacle. Ukraine is attacking continuity. Now bring the story closer to the battlefield. Fuel depots are where the war becomes practical. Tanks do not run on speeches. Artillery trucks do not move on propaganda. Generators, radar systems, supply convoys, engineering vehicles, ammunition transport, and airfields all depend on fuel. When Ukraine strikes rear fuel depots and transport hubs, it is attacking the daily rhythm of Russia's invasion. Not the headline war. The working war. The trucks that move shells. The tankers that feed units. The rail cars that push fuel toward occupied territory. The storage sites that keep the machine running. This is why the campaign matters militarily. A refinery strike hits production. A pipeline strike hits movement. A port strike hits revenue. A depot strike hits delivery. A bridge strike hits access. Together, these are not separate events. They are one system under pressure. Mainstream media may call them scattered attacks. The map calls them a campaign. And then there is Crimea. Crimea is not only occupied land. Crimea is a military platform. Russia uses it for air defense, naval operations, storage, command, logistics, and supply into the southern front. That makes Crimea's bridges, roads, ports, railways, depots, ferries, and fuel routes strategically important. When Ukraine hits Crimea's gateways, it is not simply damaging infrastructure. It is trying to isolate the occupation system. Bridge by bridge. Depot by depot. Convoy by convoy. Port by port. This is where the oil campaign and the military campaign meet. Fuel shortages in Crimea are not just a civilian problem. They are a signal that the supply system is under pressure. If Russia cannot move fuel easily, it cannot move forces easily. If it cannot move forces easily, it cannot hold territory with the same confidence. And if Crimea becomes harder to supply, then one of Russia's most important military positions becomes more vulnerable. Ukraine's message is clear: you may occupy the land, but you cannot make the supply line safe. Wars are not only won at the front, they are also won by breaking what feeds the front. So what has Ukraine achieved? Not a miracle. Not hype. Not the permanent destruction of Russia's entire oil industry. The truth is stronger than that. Ukraine has shown that Russia's oil and fuel system is vulnerable. Ukraine has disrupted more than 20% of Russian refining capacity. Ukraine has helped trigger fuel shortages, price pressure, purchase restrictions, repair delays, and logistical stress across Russia and occupied territory. Ukraine has struck Moscow's fuel hub. Ukraine has hit ports, pipelines, depots, bridges, terminals, tankers, and Crimea supply routes. And Ukraine has forced Russia to defend deep rear infrastructure instead of pretending the war can stay far away from Russian life. That is the success story being watered down. Not because every journalist is lying, but because event-by-event headlines miss the campaign. They say, a refinery burned. They say, a depot was hit. They say, a bridge was damaged. But when you connect the map, the truth becomes clear. Ukraine is not just surviving. Ukraine is adapting. Ukraine is reaching. Ukraine is striking the system that fuels Russia's invasion. Every liter of fuel Russia loses, every route it has to reroute, every refinery it has to repair, every tanker it has to delay, every air defense system it has to move backward, makes the war more expensive for Moscow. Ukraine is not asking the world to believe in hype. Ukraine is showing the world evidence. And the evidence says this: Russia's war machine runs on oil. Ukraine has found the fuel line. And now Ukraine is squeezing. This is Canada is watching that. Stand with Ukraine. Support truth. Support resilience. For official United 24 support, use the link in the description. Ukraine is not just hitting what Russia owns. Ukraine is hitting what powers the war.